starting a new series called Mid Lane Matchup of the Week. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to be reviewing and analyzing competitive games, honing in on the mid lane, looking at the matchup, talking about what players did well, what they didn't do so well on, what they could have improved on. I think it's going to be good. And kicking it off is going to be Team Liquid versus TSM. So it's going to Pobelter versus Bjerg. I think it's probably one of the most hyped matchups, at least games of the week. So I'm going to be reviewing this. I think I'm going to be spreading it around a bit. Maybe do some Korea, maybe do some EU. But today, kicking it off with the Bjerg versus Pobelter. I think it's a good game to look at. Especially with how much slack Bjerg's been getting. It's going to be nice to kind of look, could he have done more? Could he have done better? Or maybe he played it perfectly and his team just really fell apart. So we'll see. And without further ado, let's get straight into the gameplay. Okay, so heading into the game now, I just want to touch on the matchup Ryze into Mal's. Now this favors the Ryze in the early game, mainly due to him being able to grab the lane priority. Lane priority just means he can shove in, he can put the Mal's under the tower, and he can have first movers advantage into the river, into the Drake. Obviously a Shiv is looking for those objectives early. So having lane priority is huge for TSM's early comp. You've seen that they've got the Gnar as well, who's going to punish the GP, obviously ranged into melee. It's also going to be shoving in. So it's kind of on Mike Young to dictate the early game, grab those objectives, hopefully snowball the game, because if they don't, obviously Team Liquid, they've got the GP, the Mal's, the Tristana, they've got some late game scalers. So if TSM don't snowball the early game, they're in a lot of trouble. So jumping ahead and looking at the mid lane, you've got the Sapphire Crystal start versus Doran's Ring. Bjerg obviously looking for that early base into a tier. The Summoner Spell Swap enables you to run a Summoner Spell for the laning phase. Then on your first back, hopefully you haven't used that heal. Ryze is probably looking for a back at around about 3 minutes after the first 3 or 4 waves for the tier. Change out to the teleport, go back to the mid lane, and just start to kind of dictate with that mana, start scaling up. You see Mike Young there getting a mid lane top side. Bjerg shoves, gets a mid lane bot side ward. Now, this just kind of helps track the Gragas. It also lets Bjerg play however he wants in the laning phase because he has vision on both sides. You're going to see Gragas here go into the river. He should be spotted out here. He's just trying to track the Shiv, see what she's up to. 100%. A competitive team should know that a Shyvana is going to be looking for a level 4 Drake. It always happens. Shiv tries to get that early objective control. It's why TSM has run such lane priority laners, just to make sure that the Shyvana can dictate early game. Looking at the matchup, I think Pobelter might be down 1 or 2 CS. You see sometimes people start a Frost Queens on the Mal's. Obviously that item is removed now, but you see people like Faker, you can play really aggressive. It's a bit greedy, but if it pays off in the long run, holy, it pays off quite a lot. Look at the Ryze, get the base in here. He's only chunked through 1 refillable tick. We'll see what he gets. Tier and 1 control ward. Swaps out for teleport, straight back to lane. This control ward is going to be extremely important for the Drake setup. Always control ward bot side, guys. Like, the bot side here, like the Drake side, is so much more valuable, the vision control there, than top side because of the Drake. But as the game progresses into the Baron, into late game, obviously the Baron control side of the river is going to be more valuable. So you've just got to know that, especially in solo queue. If you've got roamers like the Taric, like the Alistar, who can actually level 3, level 4 gank you, just having that vision on the bot side is more valuable than top side. So great ward out there. Well, he hasn't actually dropped it yet, but he should be dropping it soon. I don't see why he'd hold it. The only reason he might be holding it is for when the Shiv comes through, so he can get a more aggressive one. Pobelter just sitting. The one thing questionable right now is Pobelter has 2 trinkets up and full mana. I think if you're a team and you know that Shiv's looking for early objectives, you could possibly get a deep... So he just popped 1 right bank smack in the mid lane, so you can kind of... Those mid lane wards can track where the mid laners go, even when the wave's not there. But I also think he could have just shoved with his mana pool, done that EWQ combo into getting a ward right here and maybe denying that early Drake. Because if Mike Young doesn't get the objective control early, I mean, TSM, you're at such a disadvantage in the mid to late game if you cannot get any type of gold lead through your priority laners. Mike Young, though, he's just getting that free Drake. Ocean as well. It's quite nice for someone like a Ryze, who just wants to continuously shove, get a little bit more health and mana regen. Pobelter finally shoves out. I definitely think that was a mistake by him. I think he could have kind of... I don't know if they could have denied it, but they could have had more control over it and just more vision on it. Especially just sitting on those trinkets. I hate people who sit on 2 trinkets. It's really inefficient. Now he's going for the base. Always into a lost chapter. And a control ward he should be grabbing up. See where he pops that out. Okay, Bjerg put his in the mid lane bot side river. I'm guessing he put that out before the Drake just to make sure that nobody could move through. If they did move through, obviously Shiv could disengage. I also love TL's comp. Like, if Siobhan is engaged, it's just go straight in, right? And then the Gragas, Tarek, perfect disengage. So TL can kind of dictate how the team fights go, in my opinion. You can kind of just sit, scale, pick and choose. If they want to engage, boom, disengage with Gragas and Tarek. Even Tristana ult. It's really, really nice comp from TL. TSM, however, they have a very strong early game. Objective control, they've already down one Drake, but the gold lead is in TL's advantage, so you really do need to snowball that into your favor. Within probably the first 20 minutes, I would say, as the Malzahar ramps up. Mithy might be caught out here. X-Mithy and Mithy, okay. A little bit of conflicting names. Alistar with the Moby boots. That's my solo queue fucking style. Grab those Mobies, grab a pink, grab a control, and just look for those roams. In solo queue, I mean, you can't just sit by. It's such a mistake. You see the laners. Rise. Level 6 now with the stopwatch. It means he has a free escape. It's just an old stopwatch and you're out. Malzahar also stopwatch online into the Lost Chapter, looking for that Morello. There's a couple of different Malzahar builds going around right now, but most of them is Morello, Leandries, Rylai's into a Void. It's pretty stock standard, and your mid-game spike is huge. Impact is honestly holding this lane extremely well. I mean, Na is like a massive counter matchup, and you should be expected to get massive CS and XP leads. You should be zoning, in my opinion. Grabs that Tabai. Yeah, Impact is just holding on, making sure that gold lead. Obviously down a couple, but nothing significant. It really doesn't mean anything. Alright, so first blues are up for the mid laners soon. You can, like, as a jungler and a mid laner, you can actually, because 100% you know the timers, especially in this meta where it's pretty predictable where the junglers are going to path, you can get the timers. You can invade on the second blue and try and deny. I think like second blue denying on champions, probably like on Azir. I honestly think that Azir has a pretty big mana problems right now with no Morello. But yeah, if you're invading on that second blue and stealing away, it can just lead to massive mid lane objective and priority control into the mid game. So now as the second blues are starting to come up, the mid laners are kind of looking for shoves, looking to try and move in. Pobelter hovering mid top side, actually looking for a roam here into the Nar. He's getting pinged out, getting spam pinged by, it'd have to be Bjergsen right there, spam pinging him out. They know that the Mouse is looking for that top side roam. Can't quite get it, so it just goes back to the lane. The blue's up now, so you'll probably see the Rise shove here into the blue. He has a trinket right there. I think he could have, if you get a deep mid lane trinket right there, like around about where the mid, like right now where the Pobelter is, if you get a trinket right there, you can see where he's going to be moving. Also sitting on a control ward, which he could have placed in either mid or top side brush. It's going to be helping to dictate a little bit more of the mid lane control. X-Smithy looks to steal away the blue. Just denying a lot of time. It kind of like, it makes it really hard there because the Rise, you want to gift it to the Rise. The Shiv cannot take it. The Mouse hard shoves that lane. Moving into the mid top side. I mean, if I'm the Rise there, I'm expecting he's either taking the Wraith or he's roaming top, and I'm spam pinging the direction. Just moves freely. I haven't seen a single ping yet out from TSM. Haunter doesn't respect it. He has no vision. I mean, I don't understand why he wouldn't. There would have to be comms out. I'm guessing Bjerg would have said in comms something like, mid lane's probably back, I don't know where he is, just care. And then Haunter probably didn't respect the call. He should not have been caught out there. I mean, really, really bad out there from TSM on the communication standpoint. It's pretty obvious Mouse, there's no vision of him. Also, the Gragas going topside. But once again, like I said earlier, Bjergsen, control ward, and his trinket were up before that. He could have, both of the times, he could have got vision out to prevent that topside roam. 100% could have prevented that, in my opinion. He had the trinket, he had a control ward. Even that, just that mid lane deep trinket probably would have spotted him out more onto where Mouse is kind of roaming towards just before that that roam. Great roam by Pobelter though. Doves just simply walks up, presses ult. Not that hard to do, but it means great map positioning by him. Bjerg's got that QSS now. It kind of just means, like, obviously Pobelter's pretty smart. He's a very smart player. He knows not to ult the Rise. That's all it means. He's going to be prioritizing the other targets. The Shyvana most likely is very immobile. If you just ult Shiv, I mean, boom, just explode her. There's nothing the enemy can do. Got that Morello. I mean, if you've ever played Malzahar, Morello, blue buff, after level about 9 on the Malz, I mean, it's just free. You can just shove. You're so safe. And yeah, you'll see Pobelter here just sitting and scaling. He's got that kill under the belt. Once again, though, because the Rise has the blue, the Rise is shoving. See, this is the lane priority I'm talking about. Mike Young can do whatever the fuck he wants. They have mid lane bot side. Look at the control woods there. Into the air Drake, most likely. He'll solo that out. So that's 2 Drakes. No, they're just... TL is just not contesting. There's no point contesting this early when you have a late game scaling comp. Unless there's like a really good opportunity there for an engage, there's just no point. It's only Cloud. If this was an Infernal, you'd probably see a contest, but it's just an air Drake. Nobody really cares that much. Mike Young does drop pretty low from it, though. You see Sven Mithy preventing the collapse by... Oh, shit. Holding that smite. He got very low there. Very low. CS on the board is really nice. Honestly, like, TSM have small advantages, but it's nothing like... They should have much larger advantages, considering the matchups they have. 100%, especially topside. Like, Hornster, holy. You should hard stomp that matchup. And if you don't, I mean, the Gangplank is just going to slowly outscale you. Bjerg's forced to go into that QSS. It's a bit of a gold sink. I like Malz because it forces the QSS buy. It's 1,300 gold sunk into the enemy, especially if they're not planning on buying it. Like, that's just 1,300 gold right out of Rise's Rod of the Ages, which is going to delay his spike. So skipping ahead, the bot lane is very low, so Team Liquid just said, we're going bot. Looks a hard commit. Sven gets caught up by the Taric stun. Flashes straight line into a Taric stun. It's pretty bad. Gangplank commits. Now watch mid lane right here. So look at the Malz teleport. Now the Rise goes into the river rather than going down to the tower and stopping the teleport. He has flash. He 100% right then could have stopped the teleport. He had the wave shoving in. Malzahar was teleporting on tower. He was on tower. If he just followed the wave in, he could have prevented it. As Rise moving into the river, I mean, you're always going to be the second mover advantage, so there's no point. You've just stopped that teleport. What could have stopped? Probably not much. It could have prevented 1 kill. The tower still would have dropped. The rest of the kills still would have came, but I mean, I still think Bjerg right then could have definitely prevented a little bit more of a gold sink. Gets a nice little trade-off there. He had the QSS as well, so 100% could have dove the tower with the QSS. Just watch mid lane right here. Watch mid lane, okay? So obviously Pobelter, they're calling bot. They're going bot, 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 engaging. Malz backs up. Rise hard shoves this wave in. Now watch, teleport comes out. He's on tower. Now look at the Rise. Right then. Right then, he has the flash. You see, 100% as they're calling bot, you know he has teleport and they're looking for it. Move into the tower and prevent the TP. It couldn't have prevented much, but I still think that there's a small mistake by Bjerg there moving into the river. Looking to kind of be more reactive than proactive in stopping. Pobelter grabs another killer for himself, goes into the Horny Guys, and then Lucidity Boots on Malz, bringing that flash cooldown to 3 minutes. It's pretty disgusting how low your flash is on Malz with Summoner Spell Swap, Lucidity Boots. It's really nice to have. Your flash is always up, and obviously that flash ult onto a Shiv, onto Sven who has no QSS yet is just insanely good. The TL here just doing a stock standard map play. You drop the bot side map, go to the top side, take top tower, take Rift Herald mid to drop that. I mean, you can implement this in your Solica games if you want, guys. If you're a bot lane, hard stomp bot, take the bot lane tower, take Drake, rotate top, take Rift Herald mid, drop that. I mean, it's a stock standard map play if you have the tempo advantage, and you should always try and do it in your games. Double Lift just going to chip away here. The tower. No biggie. There's literally no rush by TL. They're in no pressure. Mithy looking for an engage here onto Pobelter, but Xmithy is just sitting there. I mean, he can disengage. Watch the silences come out from the Malz. Whiffs the Gragas ult. 2 silences now onto the Rise. Grabs that stopwatch out by Xmithy. Just delaying a little bit of time. Did you see there the silences of the Malz? You hit both silences. Hey, guess what? Each silence is a 1.75 second silence right there. Rise can't get any rotations off. There's no DPS coming out. I mean, it's just useless. That's why Mal's in the mid game is so much better than the Rise. I mean, the Rise can obviously trade in a 1v1 better, like strictly 1v1 better, but other than that, you really are of no use. Rift Herald mid, drop that down. It's that flash ult onto Sven. Pobelter drops that. What a TSM? It's like, they wanted to defend, they wanted to fight, they wanted to give the tower. They're just, the comms are 100% off there. They just all feel like they're on a different page, if you know what I mean. TL, sticking together as a team. I mean, their call is hard commit, go, go, go. We have Rift, we can do whatever we want. Also have an Infernal. Drop 2 towers mid into an Infernal. I mean, there really is, there's pretty much no play for TSM to come back at this point in the game. TL just have complete control. They have team fight control. They have great disengage if TSM ever try to get on them. Their comp is just so much better. So you'll see here TL just going to slowly bleed out the resource and take over the game. You just watch here. It just feels kind of awkward if you know what I mean. I mean, look at Bjerg. Bjerg's looking for that base. He might be looking to summon a spell swap to a teleport, but like, look at that. It just feels like the comms are off. Bjerg finally comes in, but it's way too late. Like TSM were like, okay, we're gonna defend, and then like, no, just wait for Rise, and then they're like, okay, can we maybe protect this tower? Nope. Drop. Everybody's dropping like flies. Unfortunate. I mean, it's just simply their comms, to be honest. It just seems a little bit off. They'll get. I guarantee you that TSM will improve over the next couple of weeks as they kind of get more scrims. They get more. They have more practice communicating and shot calling. But until then, I mean, obviously the first couple of weeks of LCS, they're going to be a little bit off. But I mean, you can say the same for TL. I mean, the TL is completely revamped. They do have members that are on Immortals though previously, I guess. Alright, so after the reset, Rise is going top. He's kind of sick of it. He just said, I win the 1v1. I win the split, so let me do my thing. Obviously has that stopwatch ult to disengage still. Grabs that top lane tower. You look at Mike Young and Miffy piling up. And they know that Bjerg probably going to get collapsed on and looking for a counter gank perhaps. Meanwhile, Ole is setting up the Baron vision. Ooh, Pobelter getting caught there. Maybe could have just silenced that brush. That's the stopwatch. I think he's just going to drop. Okay, so now TSM finally got a kill. Now what do they get? If they... Like, TL has mid lane priority, you can't do anything. If you have mid lane priority in this like scenario, I mean, TSM either try and rush a Baron, even though GP has ult, or they try and look for a collapse here. So we'll see them commit for the collapse, but their lanes are in horrendous positions. Doublelift has ult, Tarak ult coming out. That is exactly why TSM's comp cannot do anything at the moment. Tarak ult, Tristana ult, disengage. You want to engage on us? It's not going to happen. And like, Xmithy still has that Gragas ult to come out as well if they need more disengage. It's just so hard for TSM to get any opportunity. So that kill on Pobelter, even though he could have prevented it by playing a little bit slower, a little bit smarter, it doesn't mean anything. It means literally nothing, pretty much. Because they get no objective control, nothing from it. TL going to reset. They're going to keep on looking for that Baron. They're going to look for a pick into a Baron rush, into a close. If you have that gold advantage right now, the kill advantage, that's what your team should be looking for. You set up your deep wards on Baron side, and then you just look for the pick. You force them out. Get a little vision out. They have no idea if you're doing it. The Mal's, I mean, Malzahar drops Baron so well with his Void Links. A juicy little tier Tarak. I see so many tier Taraks getting around these days. It's actually such a great support, but it's underplayed, I swear. Yeah, just looking at that top side. Shove, shove, shove. Great CS per minute, but... I mean, honestly, he's not going to be able to do much in team fights. Unless TL just stack together for a flux spread into a Q. I mean, nothing's going to happen at all. Tarak's going into a locket soon, so... TSM go to Drake with Baron up. TL can decide here to disengage or commit. You see how they play it. Bjerg. Bjerg ult. Mike Young probably... I wonder if Mike was even... If he was even watching the ground on him, or he's just looking at Baron numbers, looking saying, I'm going to steal it. And he disappears to the Drake. TL just collapse. Grab the kill and grab the Baron. I mean, this should be the end of the game. You should be able to siege out here. With the Mals, with the Triss, with the GP, you play it very slow. Any engage that comes from TSM, they just disengage.
Maybe just committing him for a steal attempt. At that point, though, this is all Team Liquid right up the middle. 5v4, no jungler Baron.
Once gets dropped. Good chase. The bot lane wave's in a pretty good position. That top wave probably, it looks like it's pretty even, or maybe even slow pushing. Yeah, it looks like it's slow pushing top side. So the wave's in a great position. Bot lane slow pushing as well. You just sit mid. Sit mid, shove in. If they come up, Mao's ult's coming up. It's on around about, I think Mao's ult's on a less than a minute cooldown at this point. Oh, actually it's level 15, might not be, but it's around about that. 40 to 50 seconds late game. Watch them take all the resources, exactly what you need to be doing. Take all the jungle, don't give them any gold to come back to. The only goal they're getting is clearing waves, and because they're clearing waves together, they're sharing XP CS. It's really disadvantaged towards TSM. Mike Young just gets caught by the Yurgle. Alright, so after the reset, they've gone bot lane. Obviously, you've set up the top lane. Like, look at the top lane wave. It's slow pushing. Go straight to the bot. Mid lane's going to push in with the supers. Just sit bot. Slowly whittle it away with the Tristana and the rapid fire cannon. And Mal, look at Pobelter just popping out the silence whenever he can. Boom. Silence. 2 seconds silence. What can you do? Pops out again. Silence. Depression onto the Nard. Drops him. Silence again. 2 seconds where you cannot use an ability. Just imagine. It is so strong. I honestly think, like, the silence on Mals is almost as strong as the ultimate. In teamfights, if not more, if people build the QSS. TL closed the game out. Look at the mid lane scores. 2-1-7 to 1-0-0. The CS, Ryze has the advantage. So, I mean, when it comes to stats, Bjerg wins out. The CS, no deaths. But I mean, just look at the game. When you think about the map control, how much control Pobelter had. He had that top lane, roam, that bot lane, teleport. What did Bjerg do? He just sat mid. All of his engages were disengaged by TL's comp, and he just really couldn't do anything. But I definitely think that he made a couple of mistakes when it came to vision, when it came to that bot lane teleport. He could have denied it. But other than that, I mean, I just think that overall, it was extremely bad performance by TSM. The communications were off. Hornsa should have stomped top lane, but it gets thwarted pretty much because of that collapse that Pobelter had on the roam. It shuts him down a little bit. Impact's able to scale up, get the items he needs to disengage, to just play it slow and smart and scale. So, I mean, great performance by Pobelter, 100%. Is the game Bjergsen's fault? Definitely not. It's not Bjerg's fault. Could he have played better? Of course. Pobelter, could he have played better? Yes, 100%. But at the end of the day, I mean, are these the two best mid laners in NA? I'm not too sure yet. We'll have to find out. I can't wait for more matchups. I think I might do a Korea or an EU matchup. Maybe Perks, maybe a Faker matchup or a Crown or somebody like that. But until next week, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.